pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we will begin this meeting with the amended budget hearing. I declare that the fiscal 2023-2024 amended budget hearing begin at 6:01 p.m. Do we have any written questions? Okay, are there any questions from the public? Okay, are there any questions from the board? I believe there were no changes since the previous versions, correct?
There were no changes.
That's what we said. Okay. Any questions from the board? Okay, the budget hearing is an opportunity for members of the community to make comments regarding the proposed budget. Hearing none at this time that the questions or comments regarding the proposed budget seem to be exhausted, I call for a motion to close the hearing. Is there a second? Second by Sam. Any discussion? Okay, Kelly, please call the vote.
Mr. Andreessen?
Yes.
Mr. Bush?
Yes.
Mrs. McMillan? Yes. Mrs. Ost?
Yes.
Mrs. Tunney? Yes. Mrs. Zelinski?
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. We will go then on to communications. We do not have any communications tonight. Okay. Action items, we have potentially two. The first one is to officially adopt the FY24 amended budget. Is there a motion?
Second.
Oh, I'll go with Julie. I think I heard her first. So we got Jim, Julie. Any discussion? Okay, please call the vote.
Mr. Bush?
Yes.
Mrs. McMillan?
Yes.
Mrs. Ost?
Yes.
Mrs. Tunney?
Yes.
Mrs. Zelinski?
Yes.
Mr. Andreessen?
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. Next up is personnel item. Did send an email to the board today. I did not receive any questions. On that email, is there a motion on that item?
I move to approve personnel recommendation 5B1A presented subject to successful background check and verification of credentials if applicable.
We table this until the 24th.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, all right. So,
Maybe.
yes, there has not been a second yet. So is there a second on that motion?
Second.
Second. Okay. Any discussion?
Yes. It was, maybe I misunderstood, but it was my understanding that the timing on the action item isn't compliant with OMA, so that we needed to adjust our timeline on this.
That is correct. I do believe that I talked to John Fester. There is a very opaque clause in OMA that was meant to cover municipalities, but in writing the language of the exception, our legislators did not specify that it related to municipalities, that it also could relate to school districts. Largely, school districts have ignored it, but I don't want to be making assumptions. So at this point, I think that what the OMA exception says is that any personnel that's over a certain dollar amount should be posted for 6 days on the district's website. So I think that we should table the vote, post that effective tomorrow morning. That way the 6-day clock can start, and then we could have another special meeting on June 24th. Sorry, just want to make sure I get my month in 24th to then approve the personnel action item. And that would be OMA compliant at that point in time, or 100% confidence it'd be OMA compliant. So that's my recommendation, is that we table it. If the board is in agreement with that.
I make a motion, we table it till Monday, the 24th at 6 p.m.
Okay, so we have two motions on the table right now. So I think what we need to do is, Sam, you need to withdraw your approval. And then Julie would need to withdraw her second on the approval, if that's the will of the board, because we have two motions. We can't vote on two right now. So we have to get rid of first approval. So are you,
I would like to withdraw my motion to approve personnel report.
okay. Julie, do you withdraw your second? Okay, all righty, perfect. Now we're back to just one action item, which Jim motioned to table it. Did we get a second?
Yep.
Who was the second? Sorry. Sam, sorry, yes, that's right, you did. All right, sorry. Okay, any discussion on that?
So just for clarity, what we're doing is going to provide the notice on our website. And that means that we're going to post the contract on our website, or how do we make sure that we're providing the public what we need to by OMA?
John has provided an example of what we need to post. So I have that. So I can provide that to the board and we'll get that posted first thing tomorrow morning.
Okay, and so, so this is because the contract, the personnel contract will be over $150,000 is the reason for that? Just the $150,000 is the
That is
distinguishing factor?
That is the justification, yes.
Okay.
Okay. Kelly, please call the vote to table it.
Mrs. McMillan?
Yes.
Mrs. Ost?
Yes.
Mrs. Tenney?
Yes.
Mrs. Zelinski?
Yes.
Mr. Andreessen?
Yes.
Mr. Bush?
Yes. Okay, motion passed. Seeing, next on the agenda is closed session. I move that the Board of Education adjourn to closed session for purposes of the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of employees of the public body or legal counsel for the public body, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee of the public body or against legal counsel for the public body to determine its validity. However, a meeting to consider an increase in compensation to a specific employee of a public body that is subject to local government Wage Increase Transparency Act may not be closed and shall be open to the public and posted and held in accordance with this act, and collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employees or their representatives, or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees with no action after closed session. Second by Sam. Any discussion? Please call the vote.
Mrs. Ost?
Yes.
Mrs. Tenney?
Yes.
Mrs. Zelinski?
Yes.
Mr. Andreessen?
Yes.
Mr. Bush?
Yes.
Mrs. McMillan?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you guys for coming.